The topic is the Nashville Civil Rights Movement, and we're talking to Professor GMcKissack, who was a participant in the Nashville Civil Rights Movement. And of course, Professor McKissack, we promised that we'd give you an opportunity to talk about faith and adversity. I think, as you've indicated, for the first time in a real sense, meeting the race issue in Nashville, Tennessee. Let's talk about your involvement and how you became involved in this movement, especially when your father had already warned
me
that
not
he
to.
did not wish you to become involved. Let's talk about it from that perspective.
Okay, so here I am in Nashville with this cultural shock. I need to say we came down on the train back then. And when you got to Cincinnati, you switched to the L&N, and that brought you into the South. And they put us on the back of the train, and being young, we thought, oh, great, you know, we just had a big party from Cincinnati and it was later that I realized that I had been Jim Crow'd. And I rode that train one more time, and I never rode it again. I refused to be Jim Crow. But the second time I rode that train, I remember going into the station, and they had those signs up. And I was not familiar with these signs. I'd heard about it. And I went into the white restroom, and I looked in there, and I looked into the colored restroom, and I refused to use the colored restroom. It was the difference between night and day. And when I came out, this was my first act of defiance. I took down the sign, and I've had it ever since. Ever since I've had this sign. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. 1922 is when it was put up, but I took it down in 1961, and I still have it. So I had that feistiness in me, and we were in the student union, and some of the freedom riders, and I really wasn't aware of the freedom rides at the time, and that these students had been put out of school and all the things that had transpired, and they were looking for young recruits, freshmen especially, naive people, to get involved in the movement. And myself and my girlfriend, we decided to join them, and we went downtown, and we had very little preparation. Some people just think that there's this long period of preparation, and some people did experience that. But we went to First Baptist, and we had one day, about a half an hour, preparing us for nonviolence. You know, and again, that was a transition. I was a Detroit girl, and we fought our battles, you know, so, but anyway, we went to Wilson Quick, was my first encounter. Wilson Quick is about across from where the new downtown library is located. That was Candyland then. It is totally different now. But after a short period of training and telling us to go limp and be nonviolent and not talk back, et cetera, I found myself at Wilson Quick. Had a long counter, you know, they had those lunch counters then. And when we walked in, this was my first sit-in, everyone left out, and a mob formed on the outside, and there we were in the back sitting at tables, and fear had not come to me yet. It was an experience, it was an adventure, but it got real to me as they